Hi everyone, thanks for watching RPG channel. This is James, and I really hope you've enjoyed my videos of Castlevania Lords of Shadows here. And I'm not going to continue that. I'm just not very consistent about how I play video games and how much I play them and stuff like that. And so I'm not going to finish playing the game on YouTube here like this. But I would like to just kind of give you my thoughts on the game. I mean, you've seen me play it, and so you know how the game starts and how it works and everything like that. So I bought this game not really knowing anything about it. I have, since purchasing the game, found out that it is actually a reboot of the Castlevania series. So I have to admit, I'm torn about that. I mean, I love the Castlevania series, going all the way back to Castlevania 1 on the NES. All of the music from all of those games, I can still hum along to, and there were just a lot of great times with those. Castlevania Bloodlines on Sega Genesis was amazing. I really wish that game got more notice than it did. Then there was Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Everyone and their brother has played that game. It's legendary. And I've even enjoyed the 3D ones like Lament of Innocence and Curse of Darkness. So I'm, really attached to this series, and then when I find out that they've started over with it, rebooted it with Lords of Shadows here, part of me is sad to see that go. But then on the other hand, I mean, even as a fan of the series, I have to admit that it needed some trim. The timeline was very convoluted. There was debate over which games were canon, which games weren't. And so I think this is a really cool opportunity to start over with a series and try to tell a really good story with it from a fresh perspective. So I'm kind of excited about that. As far as Lords of Shadow go, the game definitely has a lot of Castlevania elements in it. One of the things I was noticing while I was playing it was that it didn't exactly feel like a Castlevania game. Even the 3D ones. The controls kind of reminded me of Lament of Innocence a lot, but just something about the atmosphere didn't feel like Castlevania. And now there were hints of Castlevania-ness. They kept making references to Castlevania, and every once in a while there would be a moment or two where I'm like, oh yeah, Castlevania. But nothing that was definitive. You don't turn the game on and it's immediately oh man, here we go, Castlevania. But there's something there, and this game is actually 2 discs long. It's huge, and so what I was hoping for originally was that over the course of the game, all of those little Castlevania hints that we were getting would at some point come together, and after that long of a build-up, I thought that would be pretty cool. So now that I know that it's a reboot, that changes my opinion just a little bit, because now it's not like I'm waiting to be reminded that it's Castlevania. I'm waiting for the game to become Castlevania. I mean, literally, this is the first in the series at this point. So I'm kind of excited to see how that goes. As far as the story goes, and I even mentioned this in the videos I did where I was playing it, I don't know what's going on. And normally that's not a huge problem. But there's just been a ton of exposition in the game already, what with Patrick Stewart, narrating the introductions to the chapters and stuff like that. But when it comes right down to it, I don't know too much about anything that's happening. I don't think I'm spoiling anything here, but okay, I know my guy's name is Gabriel Belmont. He is a member of an order that does something, and he's gone into the woods trying to find the Guardian of the Lake to try and understand why heaven and earth has been separated. And since heaven and earth has been separated, then people who die can't get to heaven, and heaven can't influence earth, so it's left earth in kind of this world of darkness kind of thing. And Gabriel Belmont is going on this quest to figure out why that's happening, and from what I've gathered from the game so far, the cause for it is this group of people or things called the Lords of Shadows. So, right now, those are the bad guys. Vampires have really only got a very passing mention, so like, I'm still excited with this build-up to see how this is going to kick off the Castlevania series. And really, that's pretty much all I know. One thing that does kind of bug me is the dude's weapon. They call it a combat cross. It's a Christian cross that has a whip thing that comes out of it that turns into a grappling hook. And I want to know more about that weapon. I don't understand giving a character in a video game a weapon that cool and that non-standard. I mean, if he'd, been given a sword or something like that, I mean, sure, swords don't need an explanation. If he had been given a whip, well, that might have, raised an eyebrow or so. Like, even Leon in Lament of Innocence, whenever dude hands him the whip for the first time, they have a little conversation about it. But this guy just walks on the screen carrying this combat cross, and I know nothing about this weapon. And this is really about one of the most unconventional weapons you will find, and they've not mentioned that. So I'm hoping that they will eventually go into it, but right now it just feels like a lost opportunity. So, that is my initial impression of Castlevania Lords of Shadow. I'm having a great time with it. As a fan of the Castlevania series, I'm not disappointed, and I strongly suggest anyone interested in this series or just spooky atmosphere and good gameplay should look into it. It's looking like it's going to turn into a really good game, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you later.